Hello students, this is your video tutorial on preparing a herbarium specimen as part of your project. So the herbarium project is an activity that's meant to allow students to preserve samples for the future and really get them looking at identification features, and it's a tool that could be helpful if you have an unknown species and you want to preserve it and protect it in a way that allows you to ship it to somebody for DNA analysis or visual identification. To complete this exercise, you'll need a specimen to mount. You'll need herbarium labels, which I've provided for you, simple craft glue, some heavy washers, and some mounting paper. In this case, I picked up some mixed media art paper. The assignment that you'll be completing for me is based on a broadleaf specimen which you've collected, but in this tutorial video I'm using a conifer specimen that was previously collected by a student in the program. I'm going to prepare my paper. In order for your plant project to look its best, you should pay attention to detail at every step and stage of the activity. And that includes using scissors to cut out your herbarium label rather than folding and tearing it. You want it to have nice, clean edges. One of the herbarium guidelines is to have your label very consistently placed in either the bottom left or bottom right hand corner of your page. So it's a good idea to set that up in advance and make sure that when you glue your specimen that you have it placed where it's not going to interfere with the location of your label. Now this label you're going to fill out with the name of the collector, the date that it was collected on, the location where you collected it, and there's room here for a place name such as North Bay, Ontario, as well as 2 lines where you could put GPS coordinates if you have them. I'm going to write in the common name of this specimen, which is the balsam fir, and the Latin binomial name, which is Abies balsamea. If I can't write it in italics, I'm going to underline that name so it's clear that I'm identifying a binomial name. At the bottom of the label, there's space for additional notes. So if you collected from an unusual specimen or location and you thought that that was noteworthy, you could write a small note here. And it's also a great idea to include a separate page with your specimen for the purposes of this project that explains some of the environmental, economical, or cultural values associated with this species. So you can just use any white craft glue, and for this specimen I'm going to need 2 washers. For most specimens you probably only need 2 or maybe 3 glue dots. So there we go. I'm going to make sure that my glue is working. That's good. And I'm going to put a glue dot here for the stem. And I'm going to put another glue dot up here for the top of the specimen. And I'm going to line my specimen up with those glue dots. And then the washers I place over the glue dots in such a way that it weighs the specimen down, but the glue's not touching my washer. A next level trick to remember: when you're done with your glue, please close it so that we don't get all of our glue drying out. I'm going to use my little bit of test glue on the back of my label, and I'm going to put that in the corner. It's a good idea to pay attention when you're filling out your labels and gluing your specimens, because it's a common error to have the wrong label with the wrong specimen. Make sure they match up. Once the glue is dried, you simply remove the washers and stock this with the rest of your collection.